Good morning. Once again, Commissioners ex officios. My name is, for the record, Lisa Mclean, Policy and Legislative Manager. And we are here to discuss planning for the 2024 legislative session. We have a PowerPoint presentation. It's a little bit of a complicated issue, so if it would be okay with the chair, I'd ask that we hold comments until I'm finished, and then comments or questions. Yep. And then we can move ahead. So the process.
Is it on? There's a little on button on the side.
Well, that's going to work. This isn't the one I have. There we go. So the process for agency request legislation traditionally is that the staff will have a meeting in May, which they did. Then in June, we had a meeting with our tribal partners and separately with stakeholders. We held that meeting on June 27th. Subsequent to that meeting, we got a letter from the major sports teams, which we included in your packet. And then July, today, we present our ideas, the ideas that have been received from the public to you. And should you give us the go-ahead, we will research and bring back to you a draft bill language on anything that you wish to discuss, that we wish to proceed with in August. And then in September, we will bring you the whole packet that will be submitted to the governor's office. So the staff suggestion is related to RCW 946-0356, called Promotional Contests of Chance Authorized. I have given you a copy of that. I've emailed that to Senator Lawson, and just because I realized this morning that Commissioner Patterson is not here, I asked Julie to email that to her. Perhaps you could also email to the ex officios who are here, Senator Conway and Representative Kloba. So let me just talk a little bit about the intent of this provision. The intent of the provision was to allow contests in order to enhance the sales of products and services. So the provision has been in the Gambling Act since its inception. It has been defined as an activity that cannot be considered gambling, and therefore is not regulated by the Washington State Gambling Commission, because it does not include all three elements of gambling. It may include the chance to win a prize, but it does not include consideration. It is intended, as I said before, for the business to promote their products and services. If we think about going to a restaurant and there being a fishbowl at the cashier where we can put our business card and we can then win a chance to have a free lunch, that is a promotional contest of chance. If we think about the McDonald's and Safeway Monopoly programs that they run, those are defined as promotional contests of chance. Traditionally, we have worked with the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General's Office on the enforcement effort. We would deal with the method of entry, confirming that there has been no consideration. And if there was a complaint received about the outcome, that it wasn't fair, that it was rigged, that would be in the Attorney General's bailiwick. We do not regulate, we do not review, we're not trying to change that. We're just responding to complaints. People direct the questions about this issue, come to us, and we respond to those issues, and that's what we're seeking. Just briefly on the legislative history, as I said, it's been in the legislation since the beginning. It was recodified in 1987 as the whole Gambling Act was recodified, but nothing materially changed. The biggest change was in 1997, their questions started to arise because there was something new. It was called no fee bingo. You could, for no fee, with a minimal, no cash prize, you could basically goose your business, bring business in, operate on a limited basis, and then we would issue approval letters at the time. But increasingly there were questions about what was this no fee bingo? Was it authorized? How long was it authorized for? So we started a rule change in 1999 that actually ended up becoming a 2000 legislative change. We abandoned the rule change effort, and we went to in 2000 there was a piece of legislation, and that rewrote this part of the statute. And instead of explaining, which what had been up until then, instead of explaining what a business can do to enter a promotional contest of chance, the new law said, as it does now, what cannot be asked to enter a promotional contest of chance cannot be asked for consideration. The only other change was in 2011 when an extra paragraph was added to talk about financial institutions. This was part of a legislative initiative to encourage savings and basically to authorize financial institutions to run promotional contests of chance. Most of the bills, maybe like 10, 20 pages, 10, 15 pages long, was dealing with how Department of Financial Institutions would deal with this, but there was one paragraph that's been added to this section. So again, promotional contest of chance is defined in law as not gambling because you can promote your business by offering a chance to win a prize, but you can't require payment, okay? So just to show you a problem, this is a hypothetical problem. What we've been seeing are websites. This is totally not an actual website, but this is an example of a website where you see here somebody is offering the chance to win a $104,000 sports car, and it's going to basically, as we can see down there in the right purple box, we are going to be able to, all the money that's received is going to go to this 501c3 called Little Kids All Over, and it's going to support them. On the left side, all the purple boxes there, you can buy 300 entries at per month for $15 per month, or 800 entries per month at $25 a month, and you get to
Kimberly Lely.
It's fundraising. It's offering extra entries for donations. There are nowhere on this slide are there is there a product that they're offering or a service that is being offered? Nothing there. And we're finding increasingly that this free entry is offered, but just let me show you where free entry is offered. I have to zoom in so far. So you can see that little line, very last line at the bottom of there says click here for an alternative method of entry. So we're considering this to be, in essence, an illegal raffle. So that's our problem. I'm going to go back here to. So the problem is that people are offering these chance for prize for free entries and additional entries, but are not the chance to purchase additional entries, but are not offering products or services, which is what the key point of this was. So we've received some complaints, several complaints, a number of complaints since 2021. And the fact is, this is a cost issue. It creates staff time, it's Attorney General's cost time. We will receive a complaint. We will investigate to see if the operation is operating within the bounds of law. If it's not, we're going to work with the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division to issue a cease and desist letter asking them to voluntarily cease and desist. Some comply immediately, which is great. Others want to dispute that contention, which then leads to more AAG costs. And so if we just think that there's an opportunity here now to tighten the language, to make it very clear what is a PCOC, promotional contest of chance, and what is not. What is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. So some of the proposals that we have for changing things are suggested fix is to ensure promotional contests of chance are not gambling because they, by removing consideration, giving eligible businesses a more detailed map of what type of promotional contests of chance are allowed, more precisely defining the scope of promotional contests of chance as limited to a for-profit business, because there has been some questions, there's been requests for Attorney General's opinions, because some of the nonprofits are saying, we do offer a service. We offer this, the mission is our service, right? But there've been two informal opinions from the Attorney General's office that says that that's not the interpretation of the statute. It is for-profit businesses. And then to explicitly state that you may not accept consideration or anything else of value. We believe this aligns with the governor's priorities to promote healthy and safe communities, consumer protection issue. It looks like a promotional contest of chance, but actually it is an unlicensed, unregulated raffle for the purpose of fundraising and not to promote goods and services. And will also promotes the governor's priority of efficient, effective, and accountable government, because we are instructed to promote social welfare through strict regulation, so we can ensure and the efficiency, as I say, with costs, staff costs, with the Attorney General's costs. That's not exactly when we're chasing these down, answering questions, having to issue cease and desist letters, get our Attorney Generals involved. These are issues. So that is our presentation. I want to make sure that I've covered everything. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Lisa? Julia, are you raising your hand?
I guess I have a quick question if nobody else does. So, since this has been identified, has there been further stakeholder work done as far as like folks that are in this or appear to be in this business?
If you were to say, let's go work on this, that we are going to basically put together a packet and make sure that we will do the stakeholder work. That will be
But
part of
we
the
have
packet.
it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We called together everybody, sent out to every single licensees. But there were not many people there. We presented this idea. But indeed, we need to basically go directly to the probably nonprofits that are affected by this and say, this is what we're proposing.
Excuse me, Commissioner Sizemore, are you asking if we've contacted those we have sent cease and desist letters to see if this is something that they would like to comment on?
I mean, I guess more so because we did communicate with them.
We have not followed up with indicating,
No, I mean,
because we're waiting to hear if this is something you're interested in pursuing.
Right.
I'm not sure that we will include them in our notification. Yeah, it sounds like we don't legally have to notify them that we're seeking to change the law if that were to be the case either.
So, yeah, and I'm not thinking of it in terms of legal responsibility to reach out to anybody. But if, we have a really good track record in the last half a dozen plus years of bringing smart proposals to the legislature, doing our homework, and having not a lot of surprises during the legislative session on things that we've brought forward. So when I think about, 60-day session, we get a bill introduced. If suddenly 3 weeks into session, the first hearing comes up, and then some folks who we haven't tried to even reach out to come up with some really compelling arguments that then we're scrambling to try to refute or to deal with. So it is, I just want to make sure that the groundwork that's been laid to establish kind of our presence on the Hill and the kind of work product that we provide to legislators to consider continues and is at that level. So I'm not worried about the legal, rationale for whether we need to contact people or not. But if we know we're going to have opposition, why we wouldn't go and see if there is a compromise somewhere before we put it into the legislature's hands.
Understood. Thank you. So we have, because we have co-enforcement responsibilities with the Consumer Protections Division of the Attorney General's office, we have worked potential legislation and have worked this issue collectively with the AAG's office. And I can only imagine there will be opposition. I think at this point, any negotiated agreement would be along the lines of changing the law to authorize something that we have now determined to be illegal.
And then it needs to fit within our regulatory framework to be able to work.
Right. And so I don't know that we are in a position to negotiate a change that swings the other way. Negotiate a fix.
Well, I mean, we can talk more about it. I just, I think we, open up a table and whoever comes, let's listen. But make sure we're trying to find people that may have opinions about this.
Yes, and I believe there were some that have attended, that they attended the stakeholder meeting for licensees at the end of June, did they not?
If they did, they didn't. If they did, they didn't say anything, but then we met with them later that week. This was Ducks Unlimited or Rocky Mountain Elks Foundation. And yeah, they have discussed with us and they are interested in trying to see if they can't get some legislative support for a change.
Senator Conway has a comment real quick. Senator Conway?
Hey, someone's gotta let me in here on my mic. I heard two comments here, at least from you, and one is that this is an illegal raffle, this activity. And I've also heard you that it isn't gambling. And so I sense that, and I would only add this to the conversation. I think a lot of businesses will use your example for promoting their businesses. They want to give away something and to get people from auto dealers to businesses that have you put your card in and promise them a prize of some sort at some point. That goes on all the way, and I'm kind of confused here a little bit because is this a raffle under our definition of our gambling code? And I would also just observe here that the one group that I would hope we would reach out to on this is the Retail Association. Because they're the ones that sound like they're the ones that are often doing, the auto dealers do this. I get mailers all the time suggesting prizes are going to be given if I come by and look at their cars. Okay. And I'm a little bit concerned here that, I realize that what I guess I'm going to ask our lawyer this question is if this is not gambling, does this and this is a consumer protection issue, is it an issue that should be, and even though we're working obviously with the Attorney General on this, is this a bill that they should come from the Attorney General's office as opposed from the Gambling Commission? And I guess I'm asking those questions because I think that we also really should be working with the Retail Association on this as well, because they're the ones that are often doing these kind of raffles to promote their businesses and bring people in. And I know our raffle law, I don't want to get into too deeply into that, but our raffle issue here is one of the aspects of gambling that we probably need to be looking more closely at, because a lot of people are doing more and more on raffles. So, do you want to comment on that?
Yes. So since I was out of the room during the presentation, I'm sure it went well, but I feel as if we may need to touch on a few points. What we have been encountering is gambling. It is illegal gambling. It is illegal raffles. Illegal online raffles. Can we put the slides back up, please? And so the reason that this is gambling, illegal gambling, is because there is prize, consideration, and chance. And for a promotional contest of chance to be legal, it cannot have all three elements because it cannot be gambling. And so hopefully we can go to the slides in terms of the.
Oh, here, I got it. I'll get it. Sorry.
Thank you.
You want to go to the card?
Yeah. So if we can go back, thank you. So what happens is you go to a website and the website has multiple pictures. You know, imagine you're on a website and you see this car, but you see, you know, a dream vacation for a safari, and you see this wonderful, you know, trailer vehicle package, and you see all these other amazing cars and maybe even a house and whatever. And so you're there to, what it says is pick one of these, something to the effect of pick one of these prizes that you want to win. And so you decide you want to win this sports car. So when you click on that sports car, this is what pops up. And I think if you click the next slide, upon, you know, to make it bigger, what you have the opportunity to win this $104,000 sports car. And how you can win it is to, if you want 300 entries, then you decide that you're going to donate $15 a month. If you want 800 entries, then you're going to donate $25 a month, etc. That's a raffle. You're paying a price for a chance to win a prize. It's an illegal online raffle. Shoot your shot here. People don't know what that is. You have to read down into the disclaimer to figure out that that is your free method of entry. So what is happening is companies are really mixing these elements together and thinking because we offer a free method of entry, it fits within the promotional contest of chance statute. And that is not the case. You cannot just offer a free method of entry and still have an online illegal raffle. So this is gambling. This is illegal online raffles. So we're looking to clarify and the ambiguity surrounding these illegal online raffles. And we do this in co-enforcement effort with the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General's office. And we have worked collectively since the beginning of time with these promotional contests of chance. I've gone back and looked at the history of promotional contests of chance legislation and our rules, etc. And these have been around in the Gambling Act. The promotional contest of chance legislation has been around in the Gambling Act since the 1970s. And we collectively, with the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General's office, have worked through our enforcement efforts only when they are, only when we receive complaints and they're found to be in violation. We are not looking to regulate. We're not looking to approve. We step in when we receive complaints and then we take the enforcement action. Hopefully that clarifies. And of course, if the commissioners decide to move forward with this, Senator, yes, we will definitely reach out to the Retail Association to make sure that this is not in conflict. The changes that we are seeking to make are not in conflict with what they are using promotional contests of chance to be. But in my recollection, the retailers are not the ones that I don't believe we have enforcement issues with, or the car dealers. Because these are websites set up specifically to raise money through illegal online raffles.
The only thing I would say is that if it's an illegal online raffle, we have the ability to shut that down, right? Because it's an online raffle. Internet gaming, right? And I'm wondering if we already have the authority, we can go about making this type of activity illegal because it's online gambling from your perspective. And do we need a bill? I guess is my question.
And yes, we do, because right now, we, in our enforcement efforts with the AAG's office, Consumer Protection Division, as well as those AAGs that represent the commission, once we start to take enforcement action, we are encountering a number of different questions and from the other side as to the ambiguity in the current existing PCOC statute. So we are seeking to make the changes necessary for clear and transparent information, so there is no ambiguity, and that would eliminate just the ongoing conversation and make our enforcement efforts, both for the AG's office as well as ours, much clearer and less costly, and hopefully stop these entities from continuing to pursue this illegal activity in a more timely manner. Anything else from the AG's office?
Well, I don't see,
You're not in that
I'm
section.
not in the consumer protection section, so, yes. So I think it's just that the commission currently has the authority. The question that you're looking to do is to streamline your enforcement actions as the number of these has become more and more.
Yes, and they take a lot of time because they really are, the entities are really questioning what they're doing compared to the current statute. And yes, we're trying to streamline it so it's not so cumbersome to get through our enforcement actions. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, try not to cough. Any other questions or comments? No, and I don't show that we need to make a motion. Do we need to make a motion?
No, we just need to know if this is something that you think, or maybe you have any, something if this is something that you think you would be interested in supporting, that we then would start moving forward to do the work on the packet. If you have other topics that you would like us to work the packet on and pursue, we just need some ideas in terms of direction for the session. Thank you.
So I think that we should continue this process, do the work to see if we have a bill draft that accomplishes what we want to do, and how we should start being able to see some feedback on that process if we move forward. So beyond that, I guess two things. I wanted to maybe address the letter we got from the major league teams related to their nonprofit electronic raffle, observations. They appear to have a little bit of a laundry list of proposals they have that would require RCW changes. And I would, if it's up to the commission, I would suggest that we continue our past practice of working with anyone that wants to do a statutory change. So those folks that are trying to benefit or change the way something's working for within industry or within the nonprofit world. I don't believe it's our place to have agency request legislation on that. I think that if something comes forward and they've worked with us and it's within our, fits within our regulatory structure, and is something that works for the agency, then we can certainly provide that assistance or, get to neutral essentially during the legislative session on something like that. And so, hopefully the commission's comfortable with continuing our past practice there, and we can let those major league teams know that we're here to help them craft or draft or review their drafts, but it won't be a agency request. And then beyond that, I think the fact that this is a 60-day session, I think having just one agency request bill to start out, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things that we will end up having to weigh in on as session gets rolling. But I'm pretty comfortable just having this one item going forward. We'll see how it goes over the next few months of work. Without objection.
Sounds good.
Commissioner Sizemore, you should be aware of the fact that yesterday, no, not yet. Was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yes, we met with the sports teams and indeed we sort of looked at their letter, thought if there's some where some of these WAC changes, rules changes, and then said, if they need to proceed with that, if they'd like to, we will continue to work with you, but we are not, we don't think it's a good idea to sponsor ARNO legislation. So, yeah. The other thing I would just say as a conclusion is thank you for allowing us to proceed. We'll come back with draft language. We then need to put the packet to the governor's office if we're still on the right track in August. And the governor's packet is due on the 13th of September, and the commission is having a meeting on the 14th and 15th. Ergo, I would ask if you could set aside time for a special meeting, right?
Yeah.
So that we could meet virtually and show you the final decision package and get your approval.